Morning, Michelle. Thanks for joining me. So
Yeah.
we're talking about staging a property. We're talking about furnishing it, presenting it, interior design, so that it stands out. Now, whether that's for the purposes of sale, whether that's for the purposes of getting the right quality and the right number of tenants for an HMO, or whether it's making your listing stand out within a serviced accommodation or a holiday let market, all of those things, staging is becoming an increasingly hot topic, isn't it? Before we dive any deeper into it, let's just check everybody's up to speed with the terminology. So
Yeah.
if for anyone that's listening that isn't familiar with the term staging, what are we talking about here? What is staging? What does that involve?
Yeah. So it's basically making sure that when your property goes to market, it's presented to its finest, if you like. So it's making sure that in terms of the interior, it all looks aesthetically really, really amazing. It's got the furnishings, soft furnishings to kind of match the property in the market. So, what's going into a one bedroom flat will be very different to what goes into a 4-bed home. And it's pretty much putting everything in there that's kind of visual for a person to
Yeah.
see. So, your beds, your sofas, all the bells and whistles to really make that property look its absolute best.
Sometimes when people are presented with an empty box, if you
Yeah.
like, an empty property, they might find it hard to imagine themselves living there or staying there or whatever it is. They might find it hard to sort of create the space in their own mind. So is that really what we're trying to do here, is help people envisage
Yeah.
living there, imagine the lifestyle that they would have if they were living in that property. So in many ways, we're just walking them closer to where they need to be to get those sort of buying signals.
Absolutely, because it sounds really shocking actually, but it's something ridiculously high. Like 9 out of 10 people can't visualize a space or a room. So it sounds really strange because, like, again, another thing I've quite often heard is that staging's only for unusual properties, or properties that are
Mm,
tricky to work out, and could you fit a bed in there and stuff. But
yeah.
it's absolutely not, because I think I posted a recent one actually where it totally changes the room. It almost can change the lighting and the colors of the walls almost because of what you're putting in there.
Yeah.
It makes the rooms appear bigger, because
Yeah.
for some reason when you've got an empty box room,
Yeah.
it just doesn't, there's
Well,
no feeling
the
of
only thing you
space.
see is the four walls, isn't it?
Yeah,
So you're almost drawn to that as
yeah.
opposed to the way that the space could be utilized, I guess.
Yeah, and then it really
Yeah.
shows people, if you've got a bed in, or couch in there, and there's still all this extra room, a person gets enough to be able to say, oh, look at that. That's a three seater there. You've got this over here. And you can actually start to think, well, I can put that there, or you might actually love the furniture so much that you want to buy
Yeah.
it. It's like,
Mm.
and so it's really just starting to build up people's emotions, and helping them fall in love, really.
But it does seem like a no-brainer also from a sales point of view. So why, I know you're really active on social media and I've seen some of your posts around, why do people need convincing? What are you finding is are the blocks? I guess, would there be a trap to fall into to think, well, it's a really competitive property market, therefore my property's going to sell anyway, I don't really need to worry about it? Is that one of the reasons you find people need convincing?
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's so many potential objections to it because of exactly that. Some people don't even think you should paint the walls, but there's people that just think you just stick it on the market and it's going to fly.
Yeah.
Especially, like, I'm kind of trying to take over the Edinburgh market.
Yeah.
So the Edinburgh market is typically like really buoyant. Obviously, everything goes up and down, but it's always pretty steady. Things will sell. But it is amazing that people just don't see the value of spending a little bit of extra money on getting the property ready to actually potentially increase your price you achieve by,
Yeah.
it can be like, on average, it's like about 10k that you would add.
Is it
And
really?
so it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
that small investment you make up front,
Yeah.
if you think about it, it's like, I can go in, I mean, we actually, this kind of came about because Gary, he does obviously his estate agency stuff, and we dabbled a little bit with virtual staging in the
Yeah. I
Edinburgh
was going to
market.
ask you about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all kind of, it's funny because it's all so interlinked, and I still get asked about virtual staging, and I don't really have an issue with it. I think it looks fantastic, and I think if you're doing like really early CGIs or something for a development, then brilliant. But what we found when we were, selling properties in the Edinburgh market is we had this fantastic virtual staging in a property that actually typically should just make people fall in love with it when they walk in. In my opinion, it's a nice house. There's nothing wrong with it. And then they would see it online. The phone would be so hot, hundreds of viewings, and then they get there,
They open
and
the
the first
door.
thing they do is go, oh.
Oh, that's not what I
Oh,
saw online.
yeah, it's not what I saw online. And the
Yeah.
thing is, it's like, or you've not virtually staged and you've just gone with the bare walls look, and people go there and they're like, oh yeah, it seems like it needs a bit of work, or like, and you can see them just walking around maybe a bit confused, or even if it's all been whitewashed, they're just looking around and they're like, yeah, okay, this could work. But it's like, we need you to walk into that house
And
and
go,
go,
wow.
oh my God, and like almost get that feeling, and everybody knows it, because everyone's bought, or
Yeah,
if
'cause
you haven't bought a house,
otherwise you're just taking a massive gamble, aren't you? That they're going to be
totally,
able to do the mental gymnastics they need to do to
totally,
envisage them in the space. Why take that risk? I really like your style and your interior design. It's quite calming, isn't it? It's
hmm
quite
hmm
neutral, might be the wrong word, but it's. Is there a danger, I guess, that you could stage it one way and someone walks in and go, well, that's just not my style?
It is neutral in a way. It's earthy tones,
Yeah,
and it's really just making the most, because I'll still do different things. What's going to work in a high end flat is not going to be the same that's going to work in family homes. So, but I think it's just switching on to what that property is and who's your
yeah,
market, and keeping it so that they can still imagine their own things in there, but they
yeah.
can totally see, this space can work.
I think that the principle that you're suggesting is it's spend a penny to make a pound, isn't it? That
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
genuinely add value to the end result. I guess you're making the reverse argument, right? To say that in a competitive market, for
yeah,
me, it seems like a no-brainer. You need to stand out from the crowd. How are
yeah,
you going to differentiate yourself from everybody else? Therefore, rather than a competitive market being a reason to be complacent and to say, well, it's fine, it will sell, I don't need to worry about it. There's an opportunity there, isn't there, to actually
totally.
set yourself ahead of the competition and go, wow. But the reality is, um, going that extra mile to stage it, to really help your listing jump out of the page, stop people scrolling past, and really help people envisage how your property is going to be a home from home
Totally.
is absolutely critical, isn't it? Absolutely
Yeah.
critical.
And I think it's a thing as well. I think that, like, especially, it's there's also that danger of people thinking, oh well, I'll just do it myself. I can shove a few throws on a bed, or I
Yeah.
can put some furniture in there, and I think the thing is,
I'll
it's
take
like,
the photos on my iPhone. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But again, it's like you can tell, not in a horrible way, but the thing is, like, when you get somebody who's professional to do your staging, and you invest in that, that is their speciality. So they can invest in things that are higher quality, that look better, because that's their business model. Whereas I think, it's like, I know it myself, when we did our first essay, we did a lot of stuff, and you've got a budget, like as an investor, you don't want to be spending an absolute fortune on these things to buy it all yourself,
Mm.
to wait in for deliveries. It's like the time cost of all of that stuff, going to
Yeah.
IKEA every day for like
Yeah.
2 weeks, and
Yeah.
like it's like the end look is never going to be the same as what you're going to get if you just get somebody that's professional in to do it, and they can
Yeah.
just take it off their hands. And I think, especially when we're in the industry that we're in, what are we always saying? You have to focus on the most important tasks for your business, and
Yeah.
like, just to me, it's like things that you don't need to be physically doing, spending time on, that you can then be spending
Yeah.
your time better elsewhere.
So you've fairly recently set up a company for this, and you've mentioned companies a few times that will do staging for you. For anyone that maybe didn't realize that actually there's a way to outsource this, what does your company do, and what opportunity is there for investors on that front?
Yeah, so basically, the company that I've set up for property staging, and at the moment I'm kind of within Scotland area. My main kind of niche, if you like, at the moment is staging for sale. Obviously, like you say, there's different options you can look at. If you were doing the kind of service accommodation, you need a package of furniture, you can outsource that. And then also for the HMO stuff as well. So really what I do is, obviously, just take note of the property, have a look at the floor plans, all that kind of stuff, and then I'll pretty much, do your shopping for you, if you like, and source products that will work well in that property. Make sure everything just looks great, and
so all the investor has to do is basically, presumably, agree a budget.
Yeah.
Maybe have a bit of a chat to you about sort of design scheme and kind of roughly what they're looking for, and then you go off and do the rest.
Exactly. So it is really easy, and it's I've done both sides of it myself, because we've done our own stuff when we weren't kind of doing this. See, to be totally honest as well, when you're not doing it professionally, you're not actually, you're probably just going to one place and buying just anything that looks kind of all right. Whereas once you actually are doing something professionally, you know the tricks of the trade, you learn where to actually source things that look really high end, and get that high end look. And it's just a totally different ball game.
So the selling point is twofold, isn't it? One is it's going to save you time, it's going to save you hassle, particularly if you're a hands-off landlord. You've got a busy job, busy lifestyle. This is a way to get your property up and running and looking beautiful without having to be hands-on yourself. But also, the other selling point is the added value at the back end, whether that's sales, whether that's service accommodation bookings. Chances are you're going to be positioning it, much more attractively.
Definitely.
So like you say, sounds like a bit of a no-brainer, doesn't it, when you look at it? So what's your company called? It's only fair we give you a chance to plug your staging company.
There we go.
How do people get in touch with you on that front?
It's Haim Staging, but the easiest way to find me and what I'm up to, I kind of post on my page, which is Michelle_@_Haim. So Michelle at Haim on Instagram. And I've not got a website as yet. I'm kind of working on that at the moment. Cool. But really, to be honest, Instagram is such a great little page for like all your stuff.
Thank you for that, Michelle. Great to get your expert advice and input in that. I think, like I said, it's just a slightly different area of property, isn't it? That maybe people haven't considered, and also, getting to the end of a refurb on a flip or something like that. It's a genuinely great opportunity to make your property stand out and to add value. So, Thank you so much for that. That was great.
No, brilliant. Thanks, Mark. Speak to you later.
I'll speak to you later. Take care.
Hi guys. We're a collective of independent property investors who are active in today's market.
I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know about flipping property, including how I'm making over £20,000 from this project here.
And we're showing others the tricks of the trade and how you can create financial independence for yourself through property investment.
Because if it works once, it can work 20 times.
So this is where you lean on your mentors through these projects. This is obviously something we can help with, a property wealth system, and we love to get involved in these types of projects. So feel free to get involved.